Shalom, my name is Shamiyah of the house of Jacob, to my right.
Shalom, brother Shaquat Gabar from the house of Jacob.
So today's lesson is basically going to be a study of who the Israelites are, what color they are, and who are they today, and how did they lose their understanding and get to their place today in contemporary society. So to start, we're going to go to John chapter 8, starting at verse 31.
Right? It's the book of St. John, chapter 8, verse 31. Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word.
Alright, hold on. So it says, if ye continue in my word, and the word is being the Bible. Continue.
Then are ye my disciples indeed.
So if you continue on in this word, which is the Holy Bible, the scriptures, then you will be the disciple of Yahushua HaMashiach, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Right?
Verse 32. And ye shall know the truth.
And ye shall know the truth. Go ahead.
And the truth shall make you free.
And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And all things that you study, all knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that you gain in life, you always want to seek the truth, because the truth will make you free from sin. It will make you free from purgatory, or what I mean by that is basically getting caught up in the wiles of the world. So the lies of the world would say that black people is nothing, that black people is basically spittle. They get treated as anything, and we could get this understanding simply from the outside world. Just this past week, George Floyd got murdered by a white police officer in Minnesota. No one cares about our people. And alright, forget it. We go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. So we're about to see the original man and what color he was, his skin was, what phenotype he had. Go ahead.
2 verse 7. The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 7. And the Lord Yahweh formed the man of the dust of the ground.
Right? So any dust of the ground, whether it be dirt, sand, gravel, all of it is brown in color. Right? So you have sand on the beach, it's tan. You have the dirt from a tree, it's brown. In Mississippi, they have red dirt. Right? So now we see that the first man could not have been a white man. He was simply a black man who the Most High created. Right?
And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
That's what I'm gonna go up. And just to get a couple of other, instances of the skin color of Israelites, of the original Israelites, we can go to Job chapter 30, verse 30. Now, this right here is a great mystery unto people, especially in the Christian churches and even in the conscious community. A lot of people will ask, how can we believe in a book that had our people enslaved for centuries? But our answer to that is, this book is not a book that was created by the white man. This book was really our book that our oppressor had took to try to subjugate us and get us to lose our true understanding of who we are, what we are here to do on this earth, and so forth. Go ahead.
It's the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 30. My skin is black upon me.
My skin is what?
My skin is black upon me.
So here we have Job, in the book of Job, he's saying that his skin is black upon him. Now, if he was a white man, his skin couldn't have been black. That's just simple facts. It doesn't matter if a white person goes to get their skin tanned, they don't have the same shade of brown as a black person. Their skin looks dry, brittle, as though it can easily crack. However, a true black person, their skin, as the expression goes, black don't crack. We have impeccable skin. Right? Go to Acts chapter 13, verse 1. So now we're about to see a disciple and his skin color, or what he was referred to as, right? You got it?
Yep.
Go ahead.
It's the book of Acts chapter 13 verse 1.
Right?
Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers.
So certain prophets and teachers of the scriptures. Go ahead.
As Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger.
So Simeon was called Niger. In the Bible, Niger is spelled Niger. Niger, Niger, is basically of Greek origin. It is, the definition means black or black in color. So why would Simeon be called Niger? Because he was a nigger. Excuse my language, but he was a nigger. Right? Also go to Revelation chapter 1 verse 12.
It's the book of...
So Revelations is basically written by John, right? So go ahead.
It's the book of Revelations chapter 1 verse 12. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me.
So John is saying that he is turning to see the voice that he heard speaking to him. Go ahead.
And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks.
Right, 7 golden candlesticks such as this. Continue.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man.
Right, so in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, he sees one like unto the Son of Man. The Son of Man is Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, whom the world calls Jesus Christ. Now we're about to see or hear or read the physical description of him. Go ahead.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot.
Such as a garment as I'm wearing now. Continue.
And girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
The golden girdle just goes around your garment, so it can basically put everything together. Right? Go ahead.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So his head and his hairs were white like wool. If my hair was out, you can see that I have woolly textured hair. All black people have woolly textured hair. There's no white person who has that kind of textured hair. Their hair has the same texture of a dog, which is stringy, wiry, oily, and when it gets wet, it smells like a dog. Right? Well, go ahead. You better yet read that again one more time.
Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
As white as snow.
As white as snow. What?
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
His eyes was a flame of fire because he was filled with the Spirit of the Most High. Continue.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
His feet like unto fine brass. I mean, I'm light skinned, so I can't really show you, my complexion. But the brother Shalgabar here, he has, even the brother here Shaquat, he has brass colored skin. Now, it's said as though it burnt in the furnace. So being as though brass is already a brownish metal, when it's burned in a furnace, it becomes black. So that means his feet was black. And the reason why his feet was black because he was walking in the sun. And as we all know, when black people walk in the sun, they automatically get tanned. So their skin becomes darker. People say that I'm high yellow. In the summertime, I become about this brother's complexion. All right? So precept on that will be Daniel chapter 7 and 9. And we're not here preaching no hate. We just preaching the truth. Everybody likes to label us as a hate group. But we just teaching what the Most High wants us to teach. All this is coming straight from the scriptures. Give me a second. Let me know when you got it. And the Christian doctrine of black skin, they say that we come from Ham. The curse of Ham was that Canaan was to have black skin. However, that doesn't really make any sense in theory, because if that was the case, then black people will make up the minority of the world's population. But we know for a fact, for a certainty, that people with the white phenotype, they make up the minority, while people with melanated skin, even though I don't really like to use that word, they make up the majority of the Earth's population.
Yeah.
You got it? Go ahead.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9. Beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
So the Ancient of Days is basically the Most High, right? So this is Daniel seeing the Most High in a vision. Go ahead.
Whose garment was white as snow.
So his garment was white as snow. So we see that the Most High's garment and the Messiah's, Yahweh Shah's garment, is basically one and the same. Continue.
And the hair of his head like the pure wool.
So even the Most High's hair is like the pure wool. So that means that the Most High would be a black man. There is no other people on the face of the earth who has woolly hair. Even the African, they don't have woolly hair. Their hair, and I'm not trying to be stereotypical here, is basically matted. My mother used to have an expression, it was peas and buckshots. So they have peas and buckshots. Their hair can't coil like ours. All right, their hair don't grow like ours. Continue.
His throne was like the fiery flame.
All right, I said on that. Go to Daniel 10 and 6.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 6. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of light.
Right. So
lightning.
This is Daniel seeing a vision of how the Most High is to look. Go ahead.
And his eyes as lamps of fire.
Go ahead.
And his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass.
So his arms and his feet, just like Yahweh Shah, was like brass. So again, brown in color. So I don't understand how we get the white depiction of Yahweh Shah. I don't care. I don't understand how we get the white depiction of the prophets and of the disciples when all of these people were Israelites, right? And just to get some more understanding of the phenotype of the Israelites, we're going to go to Exodus chapter 4, verse 6. And in Exodus chapter 4, verse 6, we're going to see Moses, who had led the Hebrews, the Israelites, out of Egypt. All right, we're going to see his complexion. Go ahead.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 4, verse 6. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom.
Right, so the Most High is basically commanding Moses to put his hand into his bosom, just like this. All right, continue.
And he put his hand into his bosom.
All right, so he put his hand into the bosom, as I just showed.
And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
So, again, snow is white. All right. So in the scriptures, leprosy is seen as a curse, right? So what we call vitiligo today would be leprosy. So Michael Jackson, he had leprosy. He was cursed. All right. I don't know what he did. I don't know nothing about his life, but he was a cursed man for him to have vitiligo, right? We're gonna get some more understanding on leprosy. Go to Numbers chapter 12, verse 10.
It's the book of Numbers chapter 12, verse 10. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
So Miriam is Moses' sister, right? And read that again.
And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
So not only was Moses a dark-skinned man, his sister was dark-skinned. So again, where's this white depiction of the prophets and all the people of Israel coming from, right? We're going to get to that a little bit later. So go to 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 1. So now I'm going to show, or we're going to show, leprosy as being something unclean, and it being a curse, right?
One more time.
2 Kings chapter 5, verse 1. Right. Here's Muslim. So we're going to start here, right? We start here, then we're going, right, 5, and then we're going So read that.
All right, it's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 5, verse 1. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria.
Right, so Naaman was basically a general captain in the Syrian army. Right?
Was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him the Lord had given him deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper.
So he was a leper, meaning that he had leprosy, meaning that he had vitiligo, meaning that the botch was all over his body. Go to verse 5.
Verse 5. And the king of Syria said, Go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed, and took with him 10 talents of silver, and 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of raiment.
So the reason why the king of Syria had said that was because in Israel there was a prophet named Elisha, right? And it was told that Elisha could perform miracles. And one of the miracles was cleansing the lepers. Continue.
Verse 6. Verse 7. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes, and said, Am I God to kill?
So the king of Israel is saying, yo, I can't do this. So he basically tore his clothes off, like, I can't do this. I'm not even about to sit here and act like I can do this. Alright, like I'm not the most high. I'm not Yahweh. I mean, as though I'm not him, I'm not even about to sit here and even try to, you know, convince you that I'm capable of this type of power. What?
To kill and to make alive, that this man doth send unto me to recover a man of his leprosy. Wherefore consider, I pray you, and seek how he seeketh a quarrel against me.
So he just wasn't with it at all. Right? Now go to verse 9.
Verse 9. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. Verse 10. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee.
So here we see that Elisha is telling Naaman to go bathe himself in the river Jordan 7 times. That way his vitiligo, his leprosy, shall be cleansed. So the whiteness of his skin shall come back to being brown, black, reddish, whatever color he was. It just wasn't white. Continue.
And thou shalt be clean.
And then he shall be clean, meaning that you'll be good in the sight of the Most High. Anything that is unclean is not good, it is not holy, it is not pure. Therefore, it's not acceptable to the Most High. That is why we are supposed to keep our seed clean. Our descendants is supposed to be purely us. There's not supposed to be no mixed seeds at all. Right? Yeah, go ahead.
But Naaman was wroth, and he went away, and said, Behold, I thought he would surely come out of me, and stand, and call on the name of the Lord his power, and strike his hand over the place, and recover the leper.
Right, so Naaman thought that it was gonna be like quick, easy peasy, like, you know, I'm gonna come to them, I'm gonna come to Shulgabar's house, and he's gonna pray over me, and then I'll be clean. Like, nah, that's not how it works. In order for you to become clean, you must do the work yourself, and have the Most High help you along the way. Right? Drop down to 14.
Verse 14. Then he went down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of Yahweh. And his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean.
Right, so now we see that he washed himself in the river, and then he became clean. Right? So that's it on that. So being as though we have the skin color or the phenotype of the Israelites. Now we're going to go and see why we are basically in the circumstances that we are in today, right? So first we're going to start with the covenant or the contract that our ancestors have made with the Most High God Yahweh. And with that, we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 5.
Alright, it's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 5. As when a man goeth into the wood with his neighbor to hew wood.
Don't tell me I did that wrong. No, pause it real quick.